going on, guys? You're probably coming from my TikTok, my Instagram, or wherever you found me online, or if you're just seeing this on your YouTube algorithm feed, this is a sign you should probably watch this. This is my first video. Stick to the end, and I'm gonna break down kind of how I broke my first $10,000 months, and even now last month I made $30,000, almost $27,000 to be exact. And I'll get into what I do now, kind of how I'm making my money, and just get you guys more familiar with what I am and who I am. So I used to, like, back in 2019, 2020, I was big on Fortnite, as most of you guys were probably big on Fortnite, playing a lot. My friends started doing a little bit of streaming here and there just because that was the hype, and then I was just like, why don't I do this? And like, again, I probably played it a lot more than most of my friends, but I ended up just really enjoying the game of it, right? Not even just Fortnite, but streaming. I enjoyed streaming, talking to people. I always had a voice and just like always wanted to speak to people. And so anyways, I became one of the most followed streamers on the planet, breaking in the top 800 most followed, top like 1300 most viewed. My first like $30,000 was made through streaming, but I didn't even realize this because I was like barely 13, turning 14 into 15 streaming. And when COVID hit, that was like my first big amount of money, and I didn't even realize it. Where I had like, I was making like $3,000 a month through my support a creator code. It was a super terrible creator code, by the way. It was like 7 letters or 6 characters. I don't know, but if I had it at like 5, I definitely would have been making way more. And so anyways, I blew up on Fortnite there, started streaming a lot, making a decent amount of money. Like, I was gaining a lot of subs, bits, donations, all that good stuff. My biggest month, I don't know, probably around $6,000 or so. But then eventually, as most of you guys have probably ever created a channel or never created a channel, I fell off because I wasn't ninja at the end of the day. And so really, it changed my life, changed my perspective. And finally, like, I was able to, not really finally, because I didn't really work for it, but it was just like naturally came because I loved it. I made my first bit amount of money online, and I was like, okay, so this is really possible. And so really, I didn't actually get to keep most of it because my mom actually fell out of work then, and it was under her W-2. I didn't really have even a bank account, so all that money was just going to her. But she lost her job. We had to pay for rent somehow. Anyway, so we ended up just using most of that money without even me realizing it. I got a PC or whatever. I got a couple nice things for me, but I really didn't see most of that money, and so it mostly just went to my mom. But I realized, like, money is out there and money is online. And so after I fell off, I kind of just quit, fell out of love with it, meaning I started doing it for the money. I ended up not making a lot. Anyways, so I got into dropshipping as the normal pipeline for anyone who does stuff online. I got into dropshipping. I did organic dropshipping. Really had very minimal success, barely any results. I went for like 3 months. I got a couple viral videos. I was doing TikTok organic dropshipping. This was like before organic dropshipping even took off, so I know if I stuck with it and had some money to my name to even like pay UGC creators or whatever, if I knew what I was doing. I really didn't know what I was doing at that time, and I was just doing it because I wanted to try. I made a few sales, a few $1,000s or something, nothing crazy. All that money just ended up getting stowed away in savings. Didn't really utilize that, kind of quit. But then I went ahead and I started getting into a bunch of other hustles. I ended up starting a social media marketing agency, as this is also the pipeline for most people. I really hustled with that. Saw no results for the first like 3 months, signed my first client on a rev share. And anyways, like, between me and my business partner, for the most part, we were taking like 1, maybe 3K at most per month in take home. But then I realized, like, I had a passion for sales calls. Like, that's when I started taking a bunch of calls. I was the one who was taking all the sales calls, doing everything when it came to the following up with the client success and all of that. And then my partner managed all of the kind of back end work. I mean, I was there working with that too, but I was taking like 50, 60, 70 sales calls a month without really knowing how to do sales. So it was really difficult. My close rate was probably so shit. I don't even know, but actually, maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but it was definitely worse than what it is now. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I had to set up sales calls. I was following up, leads came through, and I was calling them, booking them into the calendar, whatever. So I did the setter work, and I became a closer as well naturally. And It was just terrible. I was selling packages from 1.5 to 6K. I know now if I went back into it, I could easily scale that shit again because I'm good at what I do now, and that's what I love doing, sales. And that's kind of where I was like, okay. My partner was getting sick of it. I was getting sick of it. We were working a lot of hours. I was in college too. I wasn't able to focus a lot of the time, or I was starting up college, and it really just didn't end up. It just ended up falling through. Slowly, we ended up just like closing a lot of our clients. What I took away from that, like my biggest lesson taking away from that, is that money is out there. I know I can get it, but I know I don't want to do this. But I loved everything about the calls and sales calls, but I was taking so many calls, I should have been able to close so many more deals. And so I knew my calling was somewhere in sales. And then I started college, and then I was like, I'm paying $40K a year for tuition on something that I don't really want to do. Like, I've always been very stubborn. I've never actually worked a job before in my life. I don't know if that's something to be proud of or just me being stubborn myself, but I would always tell my dad and mom and anybody that I talked to and my friends, like, I'm never gonna have a job. And so it was just always hustle to hustle. I ended up trying crypto. My month in crypto, I don't know, this was probably last year this time, my best like few days, I made like $10,000 in like 6 days or something like that. It was beyond. I took like $700 or like $600 something dollars, turned it into $8,000 within like 30 seconds, and I was like, what? But it was all gambling at the end of the day. It was just complete gambling. And I lost it all back. I made like $30,000. I lost it all back to the market. Basically took me pretty much to zero, almost zero. I had a bit saved up in some investments and savings, and I was just like, fuck. But it re-sparked my ambition again after going through so many different things that I know whatever I touch, it's like a Midas. I know that's Fortnite. Like whatever I touch, it just becomes gold, and I know whatever I get into, I will make it work no matter what at the end of the day. And so that's when I started to realize like sales is my calling, and I realized I don't want to spend $160,000 to get a sales job or even bother getting a degree when I know I can do this now, and I have done this. And so then I started hearing high ticket sales this, high ticket sales that, high ticket sales this. I tried breaking in. I did a bunch of cold outreach, got a few responses, nothing crazy. Never really went all in until I realized like I probably would need some help. I went ahead and ended up spending like over $5,000 in mentorship. This is probably like early this spring. I ended up buying a course for $2,000 and then another course for $3,000, and I've gotten my ROI on that for sure, but that's just kind of been my workflow, kind of how I got to where I'm at now and how I broke into high ticket sales. I got on an offer my first month. They had a really great offer. I've been training, I was learning the skills that it actually took, and I had a lot of the base for it. So my first month I made $9,500 in commissions, like that's take home. And I was just like, whoa. I was like, what the fuck? And so I realized like I could do this remote. I probably need to fully commit to this to really see results. So I said to myself, like, I'm gonna drop out. Keep in mind, my parents have no clue that I'm doing this now. They still have no clue that I'm making this amount of money. But I told them, listen, you gotta trust me. I'm going to drop out. Or I told them a gap year. Basically, my first month, I absolutely fucking destroyed it. I started in the middle of the month, so I'm counting like a month and a half of $9,500. So it was just really incredible. I was really just dialed in. It was unbelievable. I was working maybe a 1 hour call and I was making $300 at the end of the day. My first full day in high ticket sales, I made $600 on my first day on my offer. It was absolutely absurd. The next few months were also insane. I ended up doing over $10,000 that next month again, and then my biggest month was $14,000, 13.9 to be exact. And now we're here into September, where I literally almost doubled that, and I made almost $27,000 this month, $26,000 and a little bit of change. And it's just beyond incredible for me, and just like it's starting to really pile up, and it's been the one thing that's truly stuck for me. What I really recommend for you guys is you guys need to break into high ticket sales the same way that I tried breaking in. You guys need to try this, because this is something where it doesn't require much skill. You need to learn one skill. It does take a lot to learn that one skill, but instead of going ahead and starting a SMMA where you have to learn from the bottom up your sales ability, you have to learn from the bottom up how to run ads, you have to learn how to do client fulfillment, and everything else that comes with that whole SMMA model, or any business model of that sort. And like, you come in as a very basic level rep, whether you're a setter or a closer, and you're going to make a ton of money. Like, you're plugging yourself into a business that's already operating at $100,000 per month, and you're taking 5 to 20% of that, like, company's revenue. And so that's when I was just like, oh shit, like this is really, like, it's one, not really tapped. It's not oversaturated like dropshipping. It's not like you're twisting the whole SMMA model and saying it's freelance brand scaling or anything. Like, this is truly just a sales job. But this is a great way for you to even build capital, be able to start making some money, break yourselves into the high ticket space and like the info space. And then also on top of that, just being able to see how these business models operate from the inside out. You get to learn, and this is like one of the side things for it, like you get to get on offer and you get to see how they do the client fulfillment, that you get to see how they do their sales processes and their sales teams, and you get to learn it from the inside out, basically, instead of learning it from the outside in and buying their courses or whatever. And so really it's just like one of the best things you could do starting out, or even not starting out if you're working a sales job, just to get into, because your pay is so much more, because a lot of the times you're working B2C and B2B online, and it's super easy to sell these high ticket offers. And listen, it's not something like, I'm not some sort of prodigy, I'm not some sort of person who can't do what you can do with this. As long as you're comfortable, you don't have to even be comfortable talking to people, it's over Zoom. Like, you don't have to be comfortable, you just have to speak to people. It's really just plugging yourself as a middleman right away into a business that's been operating for years and years and years, or a personal brand that's been growing for years and years and years. And it's just such an easy way to make your first bit of money and break yourself into anything online, really. That's how I've been able to make $26,000 in the past, or $27,000 in the past month. I also started up my own little small group of students. I took my first student, Will. I got him to almost $5,000 his first month. He's been 2 weeks on an offer. He's already made $3,000. He's been destroying it. And then on top of that, another student has done over $2,000 just barely on 2 weeks on an offer. So these guys have been killing it, been getting placed, getting them on offers and stuff like that. Really, you guys just need to start. Like, at the end of the day, it's just about starting. It's just about committing your time, and just having the vision and long-term goal, right? Because this is not something, it's never going to be a get-rich-quick. You'll get into something and you'll think like, yes, I'm gonna make money next month. You're not. You have to truly commit to this for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You will see results. I promise you, this shit is real. It's changed my life. It's changed other lives. It will change your life. This is only the beginning. I will be tracking myself. I'll be holding myself accountable with this channel, regularly posting a bunch of value content. I ordered a big whiteboard, so I'm going to be breaking down like different sales tricks for you guys, a whole bunch of other things as far as what you need to do on calls, how to get on offers, different methods, yada yada yada. So definitely subscribe for that. And this month, next year, I'm making $200,000 per month, guaranteed. I promise you that. So yeah, listen, you guys have the vision for a reason. Don't waste it. Don't waste your time. If you know you don't want to work at McDonald's anymore, like, again, whatever job you work. If you know you don't want to be working minimum wage anymore, or whatever you're trying isn't working, I promise you this, learn sales and you will be able to be successful no matter what industry you break into. It's going to be a skill that you're going to take away no matter what. Because I know whatever happens, my ability to sell will never end. So I'll be able to get into whatever I want again after this and just be able to sell. You guys, I'm not special. You guys can do exactly what I do. And any questions, just type them out in the comments. I'll answer all of your questions, whatever you've got, or hit me up on Instagram. I'll leave that in the bio. Just give me a text, and yeah, see you guys in the next one.